I think it portrayed Germans really bad because it kind of showed that they even have wrath towards women and children, that they're evil. There's nothing to stop them from, that being your wife and that being your kids or that being your mother or whatever. Like, I think they did a really good job of instilling that fear of the German soldier. What did you guys think?
I think you're right. And one thing that struck me was he says, I'm one person. There'll be thousands more like me coming, thousands and thousands, which is almost exactly the opposite of what Victor Laszlo says. You know, I'm one man. There are thousands that will take my place. Even
Mm.
Nazis can't kill that fast. You know. So
Could be thin. It could. No, Carol, no, it's not possible. There hasn't been time. No. How horrible.
wow,
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Chicago Cinephiles podcast. I'm your co-host Daniel. Join with me as always is Stephen and James. How we doing today?
doing great.
All right.
Something getting a little cooler here in Chicago.
That's good.
Finally.
Welcome everybody. Today we are going to be talking about the 1943 winner, Mrs. Miniver. For those of you that are new, what we do is we take movies that won the Oscar and we argue and kind of debate should they have won. Go over a little bit of summary about them, talk about some of the main points, of reasons why they may have won, and at the end, kind of give our opinion and then sort of go from there. So, if this is your first time here, welcome. We're glad to have you. If this is not, welcome back. But yeah, so today, like as I mentioned, we're doing Mrs. Miniver, which was based on the book Mrs. Miniver, 1940, by Jan Struther. This movie was released in July 22nd, 1942. Has quite a few stars, so bear with me. It stars Greer Garson as Kay, Walter Pidgeon as Clem, Teresa Wrights as Carol Belden, May Whitty as Lady Belden, Reginald Owens as Foley, Henry Travers as Mr. Ballard, and
Mm.
then Richard, I think it's Nee, as Vin. So had a budget of about 1.3 million, which we'll get into because nothing happens, and it grossed about $9 million. It was nominated for 12 awards and it won six, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress Greer Garson, and Best Supporting Actress Teresa Wright. In 2006, it was the number 40 on AFI's Most Inspirational Film. In 2009, it was added to the Film of Registry by the Library of Congress, which I think we've had quite a few of those. And then original production actually started in 1940, and that was when the U.S. was still neutral. However, the closer that the U.S. got to war, they had to rewrite the script and make it more pro-Britain, basically so that Americans would think British and American people are very similar. So they had to rewrite the script, especially the German scene. They really kept making it more and more, I guess, vulgar, for lack of a better word, or making it more evil. But so yeah, so that's all the basic facts out of the way, and now Steven's going to give us the summary of the movie, and then we'll just go from there.
Okay. Um, Mrs. Miniver is a World War II drama centered on the British middle class Miniver family, coping with the hardships of the war. The film follows Kay Miniver, a gracious and resilient housewife, as she valiantly navigates the challenges of wartime life and the emotional toll the war takes on her and her family. Kay's husband Clem joins the local civil defense, and her eldest son Ben joins the Royal Air Force, while Kay herself finds herself face to face with a downed German pilot. As their village endures bombing raids and personal loss, the film highlights the quiet heroism of ordinary citizens. Mrs. Miniver is a powerful tribute to British resilience, unity, and the strength of the home front's sacrifice during the war.
Perfect. Thank you, Stephen. Alrighty, so now we go on to what was happening during the year. So this is 1942, as James mentioned earlier, not a very big year.
Oh no, nothing
So
going.
No, there
no,
was not
it
much going
was
on.
very boring.
Boring.
So I tried. So obviously we're joking. For those who don't know, World War II was taken off. So I didn't like go over everything that was happening. Obviously, there's a lot more. So I just did the basic things. In January 26, World War II allies declared themselves the United Nations. In February, we had daylight savings time instituted, which at the time was called wartime.
Mm-hmm.
February of that year, Singapore falls to Japan.
Wow.
February of that year, FDR orders Japanese Americans into internment camps.
Mm.
June, the Battle of Midway begins. Also in June, Anne Frank receives a diary. No one knows who, at that point, no one knew what she was going to become. In July, her family begins to take refuge and then proceeds next, 2 or 3 years to be hidden.
Mm-hmm.
In July, Himmler begins to experiment on Auschwitz prisoners. In November, the Soviets launched counterattack at Stalingrad, which is pretty much started the downfall of the Third Reich. In November, Casablanca premieres in New York City, which
Wow.
I appreciate even more after watching this movie, which we'll get into. And then in November, Jimi Hendrix was born. I try to make a little bit of a fun thing that did happen. We did get Jimi Hendrix, the greatest guitarist of all time.
So easier.
What'd you
So
say?
slow. So slow. I'm so glad you were able to find a few things.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'd really scrounge for things. So,
Lord.
well, as hard as it might be, guys, I do want y'all to give me some fun facts about this movie or trivia. I'll let whoever wants to go first take it away.
Whichever. If you want to go first, go hit it there, James.
I don't have a whole lot. But like the rousing speech that was done by, I believe
Yeah.
he's called a vicar in this occasion. Roosevelt ordered that speech to be broadcast on Voice of America, and copies were dropped off over as European propaganda. As a tribute to stirring delivery.
It was printed in Time and Look. I mean, it was
all over the place.
Yeah. It's the Wilcoxon speech, I think is what they called it.
Yeah. One of the very few things, like I know, like some of the trivia I have will reinforce some of the other points we're going to have down the road. But Winston Churchill once said this film has done more for the war effort than a flotilla of destroyers.
Yep. See? And speaking of that, I mean, that's what I love about this movie. Nazi propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels wrote that Mrs. Miniver shows the destiny of a family during the current war, and his refined power of propagandist tendency has to not only be dreamed of, but there's not an angry word spoken against Germany in the film, and nevertheless, the anti-Germany tendency is perfectly accomplished. He showed this film to people in his company, to producers in Germany, and said, "This is how to do it. This is how to make it right." So he thought this was a perfect film for propaganda. That's Goebbels. Yeah, so there you go. The scene with Mrs. Miniver and the down German pilot was rewritten after America went into the war, and they added the slap was the thing that was added. They made her a little bit more sort of, I guess, spunky would be the word I would use, but to be a little more tough. And then they added the slap at the end of the scene, which is great. I love that scene. What else would we say about this? What I thought was bizarre, Greer Garson, who plays Kay, after this movie was finished complete filming, she married the guy that played Vincent, Richard Ney. So I thought that was a little strange. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. And they stayed married until 1947, when Greer Garson claimed that her husband, quote, was morose and critical of her acting. You don't be critical of Greer Garson's acting. I'm sorry. You just don't do that. Just a little bitchy there for me. And then the other one, Teresa Wright, who played the young girl that their son marries. She was nominated for 3 Academy Awards in 2 years. The only actress that's ever had that happen. The only person that's ever had that happen. She was nominated in 1941 for The Little Foxes, and she was nominated in 1942 for Mrs. Miniver, and then for Best Actress for Pride of the Yankees. Quite an accomplishment. Yeah.
Well, that's a feat.
And this is the only nomination for Henry Travers, aka Clarence, from So I thought that was cool. I love that he was nominated for this movie. He's quite good. And that's about all I have.
Awesome. Well, now we're going to move on to just more of a discussion based about the movie. This is one of those rare movies, again, where none of us had seen it before, so it was kind of a nice thing to go into it. I had no expectations. Did you guys have any expectations on it?
Not really.
I just assumed it would be about World War II of some sort. That was about it.
I think it's safe to say this gives Casablanca a run for its money for being the most propagandic movie of World War II. Like that was a winner. I'm sure there's probably more out there that were probably terrible that didn't do any good, but this one's up there, in my opinion, for giving Casablanca a run for its money for the most propagandic film in this time frame. What do y'all think?
You say that. I never think of Casablanca as a propaganda movie. That's just because I love the message of it.
It's
so
the
much.
most real. It's very propaganda.
I mean, I don't think it was built for that purpose.
I totally do.
So the key to great propaganda is you don't realize it's propaganda.
Exactly.
Like when you have a great propaganda piece, you don't realize it's propaganda.
Yeah, it's
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've just been taking.
Didn't we bring this up in our first episode?
I believe so, but
I think the author even said it, right? Like the guy who wrote the book said it.
Oh yeah, he totally meant this to be for America to join the war.
Yeah,
like this was 100% set out to be a propaganda film.
Yeah,
and
So then Steven's probably saying that it doesn't give Casablanca a run for its money. It's way better of a propaganda film than Casablanca, because Casablanca is not a propaganda film, according to you.
I just see it as I see it as bigger than that. I don't think of it as trying.
It can totally be bigger than that, but I think you still have to admit it's got propaganda vibes.
I guess you're right. Yeah.
I mean, if you don't agree, it's fine. It's not a big deal. But yeah, so I also want to bring up, just because I like to tie in old movies that we've done, they do mention the class system, which whenever we did the My Fair Lady, I was very ignorant to it. I think all of us kind of were. We didn't realize for the full depth. And I remember one of the comments we had talked about the class system, and I feel like Vin, especially when he comes back from college, and we've all done this. Yeah. We've all come back from college and instantly think our parents are these evil people because they're not out fighting the good fight or whatever. And so it's him talking about the class system. I think it was kind of neat how that brought it up again. Did you guys have any thoughts on that?
Well, if you look at the class system, he was saying how horrible the class system is, and then he literally says in front of the maid how horrible it is. Like, hey, how's it going? Like, not even thinking that he is part of the upper class.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he had servants and wasn't against them being servants. Like, I don't know. Like,
because they were treated right,
I love how she gave it back to him. Like, you're all all talk.
What are you doing about it?
Oxford man.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she really I was like, good for her for laying into him and not being the damsel in distress.
And speaking of that, speaking of My Fair Lady, this is one of 3 Hollywood films that recreates Covent Garden, London's Covent Garden. This movie, My Fair Lady, and Mary Poppins. So we have the big flower sale, Flies for sale, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up because that's a very common thing. The whole rose thing. Like, I feel like I've seen that in TV shows too. Like, I don't know,
Downton Abbey, same exact thing happened.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I knew I'd seen it recently, and then we saw it in My Fair Lady. It's like this. Yeah, it's a common theme, so it's kind of neat to sort of see that again.
Downtown Abbey, it's a really good show. Downtown Abbey, you got to watch that.
Have you seen it, James?
Downtown or Downton?
I'm just making fun.
It's Downton Abbey, yeah.
Okay. I'm like, wait, Downton Abbey?
Downtown Abbey.
Mystery show about...
Well, they know
it's
some
so good. It's so good.
I've seen Downton Abbey.
My parents devoured it. Like when I told them about it, I did too. I can't lie.
Are you excited for the new movie?
No, because the movies were terrible. Um, Also, let's give a shout out. I was not expecting Dunkirk to be in this movie until 2 a.m. the alarms went off, and I was like, "Bring all your boats." I'm like, "Is this Dunkirk?" But just from the British, like from the
Mm-hmm.
civilians' point of view.
Yeah, isn't that great?
What you got, James?
Okay, so this is the problem with this movie that I have with this movie. That all of the cool, epic things, I feel like they just gloss over. Like, why not show the dad? Like, he was the one who went over in his boat.
Mm-hmm.
Show him taking some soldiers, like, fight the water. But, like everything cool in this movie, they decided not to show. And that just
Yeah, because
annoys
the
me.
scene where it first starts off with a couple of them going down, and then it adds more. I'm like, this is pretty sweet. Like, this is pretty awesome. Like, and then like even the way they tricked the camera, like when the big ship came by, and they were like, attention,
Yeah.
attention. Like, it was really cool how they did like the angles and stuff. I really appreciated it.
Yeah. No, that
And
was
then
great.
like
And
you said, it's like next scene is like, okay, now where she's can't sleep and there's a German guy in her front yard. It's like, can we go back to that? Like, can we get some more action from that? Like,
I think
yeah.
William Wyler said when because he joined the army after this movie was filmed, and he said later that he regretted not putting more of the harshness of war into this. So maybe that's something he would have regretted. But I think this movie was more centered on the home front, which is why they didn't sort of bring Dunkirk into it.
fair point.
You see him coming back, but not to go all the way to Dunkirk because that takes away from what's going on here. It would have been better, I think, if they'd showed more of those 7 or those 5 days when he's gone.
Yeah.
And the women sort of waiting and wondering if they're ever going to come back. Maybe that could have done something, but it just added more time to the movie.
That's a good point because the whole point of this movie is to show everyday life of British. And if you take time to show, someone may say, well, that's not me. I'm not traveling 200 miles or whatever it was to save somebody. So this is not someone in America may think that because, as opposed to it being like all taking place in British, like, yeah.
And to me, the whole movie it hinges on, again, Mrs. Miniver, the title character, but Greer Garson's performance in this is outstanding, in my opinion. I just think she's incredible. Just to have this woman sort of, you see her trying to get by that hat, and it's all sort of a little bit, a little bit shallow. It's a bad word for it at the beginning of the movie, and then you just see the resilience of this woman going forward, and keeping going. And their house is bombed, and she's just holding on to her children and her family. It's her. Greer Garson's performance is brilliant in this. And there are two Mrs. Minivers. There's, the daughter-in-law as well. So I don't know. I just had to say that because it is one of those movies where you're like, okay, come on, let's go. Come on, let's go. Next thing. But her performance just enraptured me. I thought she was brilliant. Did you all like her performance?
Well, she did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
That's just,
You just wanted more action.
You get what we think about the movie later, but
yeah, it's like putting lipstick on a pig. It's still a pig. But so then let's dive in because I think the biggest scene for propaganda's sake and really the whole movie, I think, revolves around the German pilot scene. For those of you who don't know, essentially, as I mentioned, she goes outside because she's restless. Kay goes outside because she's restless and runs into Clarence or, talks to him for a little while and then looks over and sees a German soldier in the bushes, basically a downed pilot is what it was. And she sees his Luger. And so she kind of reaches down to grab him. And that was pretty eerie when he opens his eye and looks at her because you don't know what you don't know like what the tone is because they haven't established anything in the movie that's remotely like evil, for lack of a better word. You don't know how they're going to handle it. If he's going to be just awful or if he's just going to be a 19-year-old kid who was sucked into the war because he got dragged. We didn't know. And so that whole scene was just fantastic. And as Steven mentioned, I think I mentioned earlier, it was rewritten several times and kind of continued to get more aggressive once USA entered the war with the slap, as he mentioned, and whatnot. So what was y'all's takeaway on this particular scene? Anything that stuck out? I mean, obviously, we talk about that. I think it portrayed Germans really bad because it kind of shows that they even have wrath towards women and children, that they're evil. There's no there's nothing to stop them from, that being your wife and that being your kids or that being your mother or whatever. Like, I think they did a really good job of instilling that fear of the German soldier. What did you guys think?
I think you're right. And one thing that struck me was he says, I'm one person. There'll be thousands more like me coming, thousands and thousands, which is almost exactly the opposite of what Victor Laszlo says. I'm one man. There are thousands that will take my place. Even Nazis can't kill that fast. So it was sort of the opposite of that, and seeing how, you know, the Nazis saying, yeah, there's more of us coming. Yeah, there's, and then Casablanca saying, yeah, there's more of us too. Yeah, you can't kill us that fast. No matter who you kill, we're still going to be coming over that
because
hill
it's an idea
and resisting you because we're an idea. Exactly. So I thought that I loved the scene. I loved her sort of. She was a much better human than I would have been, because if I'd gotten that Luger, and I wouldn't have helped him out and said, "Let me help you." Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. I would have called the police maybe after I'd shot him a couple times in the neck. You know what I mean? Like, it just, there's something. She was so valiant and so still trying to care for him. And then when he brings up killing women and children, that's when her anger just, because she's not sure if her husband's going to come back. She's not sure if her son's going to come back. She's fighting this whole war on her own. I thought it was a wonderful scene, just a wonderful scene. But you, James?
No, I enjoyed the scene. I want to say, like, I think I did a good line of not doing, like, this was going to get me in trouble if taken out of context. Like, I figured it would be more like evil, like the portraying of the German soldier. Like, yeah, he did all these terrible things, he said all these things, but like, he seemed very like dialed back, and I don't know if that was the intention. Like, because like if you're a German soldier and behind lines, like I don't know how you would react. I don't know. I can't put myself in that mind. But it seems like they didn't go more cartoonishly evil, which is like what was shown at the time. Like, you know, if we look at the Warner Brother cartoons and stuff like that, it wasn't as cartoonishly evil. So I don't know if that's just them trying to do great propaganda or what, but it seemed kind of dialed back to what the standards at the time were.
Yeah.
I think it was good for him. Well, I thought there was some bad acting in this scene, but I think that's just because that was the time. She's like,
Yeah.
she has 20 seconds to shut the door, and she's like, "Oh no, I can't shut the door." It's like, shut the door. What do you mean you can't shut? Like, she took forever to shut the door on, or didn't even shut. It's like, shut the door, and then he drinks the milk and passes out. Like, I had to rewatch it to make sure like she didn't like slip something in his drink. I think, like, I thought he did a good job. To me, he portrayed him being shell shocked. I think, to me, James, I think that what you're looking at, and then if you notice, the more, like, I thought he was going to go down a path of, kind of like how if you corner a dog, they're going to bark and growl, and then you pet them, they're okay. I thought he was going to be that macho tough guy, and then when she showed compassion, I thought that he was going to be like, for lack of a better word, a normal person. And then, like what Steven said, then whenever he made the comment, that's when she's like, "Nah, fam, we're out of here. Like, forget you."
Yeah.
I think the door thing is because of how it was filmed.
Well, I mean, obviously, I mean, because it's not realistic. But I'm saying, like,
I
you
can't do anything.
If we'd
You
seen
can,
how far away he was from the door or what he was doing with the gun at the door, we would have seen why she couldn't react. I didn't see that as a problem.
oh, I did. You just shut the door. What are you talking about? I mean, slam the door in his face. If you give me 3 feet, I'm slamming the door in your face. I know it's for because they had to make it like a. I get it, but like if you look at whenever he's running, he's like 15, 20 feet in front of her or behind her, and like if he's gonna shoot me, just go ahead and kill me. Like just go ahead and do it. Basically, is how I feel. But anyway,
Suspend your disbelief.
basically, that's what I had to do. So okay. So I do think I do want to kind of touch on mainly the themes of propaganda because I think that's sort of the main, some of the main thoughts this movie and just like symbolism in general. I think the movie does a good job of showing Americans how close to home the war was for the British people.
Yeah.
One thing about America, other than Pearl Harbor, that we can really say is that we've never been attacked. We've never, I mean, obviously 9/11, but like in a war setting, we don't know what it's like to have to be in or have to have people come by and tell us turn our lights off and go into the, actually have a police officer or whatever the term was. I wrote it down. I can't remember what the term was. That the guy came running in and made him the little tiny little light showing through the window. I think they did a really good job of showing what the British people were putting up with, so that way America could feel more like. I think it's because to hopefully get us into the war.
Well, just how when they're in their shelter, and he wants to go outside, he lights his pipe before he goes outside. When he's outside, he's smoking his pipe upside down, just for that little ember of light won't show. So it's little things like that, little touches are just how hyper aware.
We'd be so in trouble now. Check a TikTok video and instantly.
Let's see here. I'm gonna
stream.
Oh my God, Diddy just got arrested.
This blackout sucks. Hashtag over it. Like
over it. We're over it. Oh my God, it's crazy. Like we're so gonna be in World War II. We're so gonna be in the story. It's crazy.
I want to move on, and then we can obviously kind of tie it all in because I want to get all the symbolism out of the way first. Because back to the bomb shelter thing, I thought it was very interesting that was it the grandmother? Correct me if I'm wrong. That was reading Alice in Wonderland, or was it or was it Kay that was reading? Kay. Okay. I was reading Alice in Wonderland while the bombs went off. Basically, they were barely escaping. I think that's some symbolism right there because they were trying to escape reality by having them read the book to them. I just thought that was a really cool symbol. I mean, because they could have picked The Art of War. I mean, well, they literally could have picked any book, but they picked a book that was very popular at the time. Obviously, still is, but and I guess did you guys have any thoughts on that symbolism? And maybe we can get more to the symbolism with the rose ceremony next. But I just thought that was a good symbolic gesture where kind of life goes on.
No, I love that she knew that passage. She knew the passage by heart. He was reading. Just killed me. Go ahead, James. What?
Hey, Daniel, I always just thought like this is good to have different perspectives. I thought it was just this movie stand. We have this book on hand. Let's just use it.
Maybe it is. Maybe I'm looking too much into it.
But I would love to look at the history of oh no, it's just a book that I read my kid yesterday, so it's in the film. It's like the Game of Thrones with the Starbucks cup. It was
right.
There.
That's funny. Maybe it was. Maybe I'm looking too much into it.
I don't know. I never thought of it that way.
But put yourself in that situation. Well, I've never been in a bomb shelter, but I've been in plenty of not tornado shelters, but hurricane shelters here in the South when I grew up. Basically, just a basement. And I remember our parents, try to keep the normal, our nighttime routine the same. Whether it was watching a show or, a DVD, they would bring a little portable DVD player and try to keep. So I think it's just a way for them to keep it normal. So the kids, but I think also the parents and the adults don't panic.
Mm-hmm.
I think it does show normalcy.
Really well written, that scene.
I agree.
To see them just talking about normal things and then talking about, that goes close. You're above. And then go right back into, well, that's really long. Maybe you're making this too long for our son. It just brilliantly written scene. Brilliantly written.
And then let's get into the other symbolism, and then we'll kind of get into some more of the irony of the movie. The rose ceremony, while the churches literally have holes in it, where they pick who it is. And I think that's another symbolism of they're trying to keep things normal even while being bombed. That's just my opinion. That could be. Yeah. I think you have to do that to not go crazy yourself because I can't imagine sitting around you just waiting. No, just go about your life. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I think I would take that approach too if I was in that situation.
I think humans do that for everything. I mean, I don't know why.
We did it in COVID. It's I'm going to take the chance and go on the bus. Okay. I mean, I can, it's like.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Tiger King, for keeping America sane during that time.
Amen.
Well, I mean, I flashed to the AIDS epidemic and how people were just, there were so many really bad jokes that gays were making about AIDS that were because we had to.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're just dropping like flies, you know. What's the worst part about having AIDS? Trying to find something to match your lesions. I mean, you know, just these really bad jokes. I mean, yeah. Try my favorite one
Let's
was
go. Hang on. Let's go ahead and get canceled even more. Steven, tell the joke about the one I think you're about to tell, but it's the one about the H word, trying to
what
convince your parents that you're not okay.
what's the worst part about having AIDS? Trying to convince your parents that you're Haitian. Because you know all these people from Haiti.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh my god.
Steven Rader address. Send him your.
bring it on, David All. Bring it on. Bring it on. I love it. I love it. I love it. Fill me with the hate. But to me, that's just how human beings, you have to react because
Mhm.
otherwise your psyche will break. I mean, you've got these people who with bombs over you. You know, you just have to try to keep some kind of sense of normalcy and happiness, whatever you can grab a hold of.
Yep.
You know, that's what they did here. And you're right. COVID was the same thing. I mean, my brother would. My brother was so angry with me when I flew home to see my mother because he was afraid I was going to bring COVID. Here, I'm living alone. I haven't left my apartment in 3 months. You know, no one's seen me because of, you know, whatever. And I get a $45 airfare to back to Tennessee. You're damn right I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
I was first class, $45 first class flying back to Tennessee. So here I go, you know. And my brother was so angry with me, but I was like, I'm going to go spend some time with the people I love,
Right.
you know, because I want this to be, you know. And yeah, we wore our masks, everything, but we had to keep normalcy. I think you're right, Daniel. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Everything sucks. Let's talk about the weather, you know.
Basically.
Like, oh, hey, some air raids going on. Hey, oh, you want to go to dinner, you know, with Henderson's next week for Sunday brunch or whatever. Just
Well, it's like Steven was saying, people would be out, it'd be 20 below and people would be outside eating. Like during COVID. And it's like, what?
I totally did that.
Oh my God.
Ain't nothing worth that.
I thought my friend Mark was crazy. We're going to go to dinner. So we went to this restaurant he worked at. And we sat by a door because the door was open. It was 12 degrees outside. We sat with our coats on and, like, you know, eating dinner. I was like, this is insane. Why are we here? I can have food. I was just so over it.
And don't forget, Steven, the COVID doesn't know when you're taking your mask off to eat.
Yeah, that's right. So you had to have your mask on when you walked to the table. But if you ate, COVID doesn't know you're eating. So you can take your mask off. I was like, this is
so funny.
Bonkers ludicrous. Like, this is nutball. And here we sat. You know, I'm like the little match girl trying to put food in my mouth. I was like, this is nuts. But, you know, let's try to keep our normalcy. And walking by the gay bar around the corner here, there were all these homos with their coats on outside in this little plastic tent with their masks on, sipping. I was like, you can buy alcohol for the privacy of your own home. Homos, come on, let's go. What are you doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for the language that Steven is using right now. In case that offends anybody. Again, you can send the comments below. Send the comments to him. He is one of your people.
I'm one of your people. Lighten up, Francis.
But let's get into the irony of this movie. The part that made my jaw drop, I was actually really sad, obviously, was Carol dying and Vin surviving. What are the odds?
Shock. Big old shock.
Yeah, that was a huge shock. What did you guys think of that?
Oh, that hurt.
I didn't see it coming.
No, not her. Like, I was just waiting for the son to like die, and then we have to deal with the aftermath. Like, you know, kind of preparing people for what can happen. But like, nope, right on British soil, they, you know, got attacked.
Gosh. I mean, just
that's probably a more effective.
Oh yeah, and then at the end to see Lady Bracknell, whatever her name is, to be sitting there by herself reading and singing her hymn, and then for Vin to come over, be with her, was just such a great touch.
Yeah,
such a wonderful touch to see that she had not accepted, but she needed him now. You know, he's family now. Just what a great touch.
It sort of reminded me.
Shocked me.
it sort of reminded me of the end scene, like of a 12 Angry Men, where the one guy who was just belligerent, Henry Fonda came over and put his coat on him. Like he was the only guy left in the room, put his coat on him, and was like walked out together. It's kind of like similar to that. Like you said, it's like it was very big of Vin to kind of come up to her and because she was not exactly a fan of his, but I mean, hats off to her for understanding too.
Yeah.
That like she got married when she was younger. And so she was like, "Yeah, there's nothing I can do about it because I know what I was." Like in my head, she's probably thinking,
She's
like,
my
"Yeah,
granddaughter. She's my
yeah."
granddaughter.
She's like, and like she's like, you could have told me no at that age either, so I get it completely.
I love that. And I also, again, to bring it up again, she's Mrs. Miniver. So Mrs. Miniver dies in this movie. A Mrs. Miniver dies in this movie. Is taken by the war.
Yeah.
So that's another wonderful thing about this title. It's
but not the. That's fine.
Not the, but a.
It was pretty funny too. Just kind of mention like a random scene. I things you don't think about nowadays, but I noticed it just because like I just do. But where they're in the bed and they're separate beds, that's just so funny to me. Like I just love that kind of stuff. Like
Hays Code insisted on that.
That just cracks me up.
If you're married, you're in a different bed.
Because like I mean, I Love Lucy's the same way. So like I know it goes all the way up to the 50s.
So how did they have the kids? Was he doing like push-ups and she slipped in one day? Like what the heck? How does this happen?
Steven, have you ever heard of a term called soaking?
No. What is going on? What is going on?
Is going off the rail.
Maybe they live in Utah and are Latter-day Saints people. You really don't know what soaking is, Steven?
I have no idea. Just explain it to me.
Oh my god.
All right. Well, okay. I'll explain to it once we get done recording. Just remind me to explain what it is.
I've explained. I want to do
sick. I do want to say the one thing that did shock me, like how you were talking about being shocked, was like the customer service when she bought a hat. Like, the department stores, how they were so customer focused, and now they're like, "What do you want?"
But they're one of the apartments I got here in Chicago. This gay guy, I love this guy. He showed me this wonderful apartment on the 3rd floor of this building. And because I wore my, Broadway Cares, AIDS T-shirt that I was looking at apartments, the woman denied the apartment to me. She didn't say it in words, but she said, "Oh, it's already been sold. It's already been rented." When we had just left and went and did the paperwork. So So the guy was like, "I think we've just been discriminated against." I said, "I think we are." So he took me to see another apartment, which I was like, "Well, it's okay," but it wasn't this great apartment I'd just seen. So I said, "Okay, no, thank you." So 2 weeks go by, right? And I've seen just crappy apartments down the road. So I called this gay guy back. I was like, "Hi, it's Stephen Rader." I said, maybe, I don't know if you know this or not, but I said, I'm just wondering if you still have that apartment. He goes, "Girl, I knew you'd be calling. I've got it right here, but come over, sign this paper." He knew immediately that I was going to walk. "Girl, I got this for you. Come on, girl." I was like, that's customer service for me. That's what I love. I love the homosexual customer service line. That's what I love. "Girl, it's fine." So it does still exist. It is still out there, but it's few and far between. You have to be gay. Other than that, it's fine.
And the joke's on you. No one wanted it either.
Exactly.
So it wasn't customer service. He just knew you were the schmuck that would want to.
I just got this homo over here.
I got him hook, line, and sink. Give him a few weeks.
Oh my lord! She thinks I'm gay too. This is great.
Oh god.
Okay, so then let's move on to our thoughts of the movie. Steven, I'm gonna let you go first because you're usually the opposite of us.
I'm sure I am.
Did you like the movie?
I liked the movie. Didn't love, but I liked the movie very much. I think it's Greer Garson's movie. This is Greer Garson's movie. She's just spectacular. And I, as a big fan of Golden Age Hollywood, I hadn't really seen a lot of Greer Garson movies, unbelievably, and just fell in love with her. She's spectacular. And in just very small ways. Just very small ways. Just the keeping the camera on her face when she's holding her child, when they're in the barricade or whatever. Just just holding onto her face is just gorgeous. Just, I mean, I can't say enough about what she gave. And of course, she won the Academy Award against some really stiff competition that year, quite frankly. So I don't know. I just think it's her film. It's her film, and she's the one that just really hung well over. Plus, a lot of people, it was their first film. The guy that plays the son, it was his first film. So, but I enjoyed it. I didn't love it, but I did enjoy it. So now tear it down. Here we go.
James,
you go first.
No,
I think you should go.
I don't have much to say, so I'll just let you.
Okay.
I'm impartial to it.
So, when I first watched it, I thought this was probably one of the most boring movies I've watched. Like nothing's really going to happen. Like, I literally turned it up to 2 speed so I could watch it faster. And then the dialogue, the dialogue's kind of snappy now because I literally doubled the speed of the movie. That being said, when I had some time to reflect on it, I don't think this movie is meant for like me to watch. Like, I am not that audience. I could not understand it. Like, it seemed to have such a huge cultural impact because Winston Churchill mentioned it. It was all over. Like, it was all over. But I don't know if it's just because of my living in 2025, never had to really see war up close or what the sacrifices you had to do living in the United States during this time. Like, I don't understand it. Like, I felt like, you're taking all the cool stuff about it and not showing it. Like, you are literally just showing, I think it's supposed to be like, I don't know if it's like the template for everyday life, like what you could do during the war, or, hey, United States, get your shit together because you're going to end up like this if you don't like help. Like, so I am not a fan of this movie. However, I do not think this movie is meant for me, is what I'm going to say for it.
I would say.
The only thing I'll add to that, to me, this is Cimarron the sequel.
You're so mean. Oh my gosh.
Like,
oh my God.
They go away from home. Nothing happens. Like, it's not that far off, really. I mean, it is, but I will say the first half, I was just ready to give up. I was like, I was like, can I just look up a summary of this, please? But then it did kind of pick up. I will agree, James. This is not, and to me, I don't think every movie should be a classic. I don't think every movie should be timeless. I think that's what takes away from the greats. I think this movie was great for 1942, and I think that's where it should stay. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just think that's where the most cultural impact and gripping it probably was, because it was dealing with target audience that was going through that, like James said. And it's just, to me, it has not aged well. Not that there's anything like problematic with it, nothing like that. I just don't think it aged very well. I think it was a timepiece, and that's really and that's why it won, because it was. I mean, that's just my opinion. Like if you compare that to, I know you don't agree with me, Stephen, but like if you compare that to Casablanca, it is so much worse than Casablanca, and arguably it's the same idea about propaganda and that kind of stuff. Like, just a storyline, and truthfully, not. I mean, if you think about it, there's not a ton. I mean, there is some action, obviously, in Casablanca more than, but even in Casablanca, there's very little. I mean, there's shooting and stuff, but there's not as, they don't show, escaping Dunkirk, whatever. So when you think about it, like, it's not like they're on the battlefields, but you feel like you're more in the front lines, because even though it's taking place day-to-day life, it feels like it's in the front lines, which I guess technically this movie was too. I don't know. I agree with you, James. To me, it just, yeah.
I think it resonated.
It's a movie of its time.
Yeah, it resonated with people because this is what they're about to just face. The Americans, especially, we're about to face this kind of loss. I mean, we're sending our, Daniel and I are big fans of the PBS World War II documentary by Ken Burns, for this one woman is she from Alabama?
She's from Alabama.
Talks about, well, we had the boys and the Wawa, and she always says the boys.
And that's how she talks, yeah.
And we had those boys going over in the Wawa, and every time she speaks, it's gold.
But
gold. The boys in the Wawa were being sent over, and they weren't sure if they're going to come back. I mean, there's this heavy, heavy sense of what's going to happen to us as a family. And are we going to have who will we be after this is all over? And it just struck a chord, I'm sure.
Well,
just this normal family, that's about to be ripped apart. and how they deal with it.
James, let's hop on. Since me and you weren't the biggest fan, we can hop on a bus and there actually is one person still alive from this movie.
Really? Who?
Yeah, it's Christopher Severin, the little boy.
Oh, he's so cute.
He was born in 1935,
Oh.
so we can go
So
find him
cute.
and
He's a great,
Wow.
really great performance.
But he's well, and the funny thing is he stopped in 1943. He never did any more films. So I guess he became a normal person. He only did 3 movies.
That's that line from the producer.
Toby is his name. He actually later on became, from The Office. And
I was going to say that line from the producer.
he worked at a paper company in Philadelphia.
What
Or
he said,
Scranton.
you think actors are the same as people? You ever eat with one? I mean, it's the same thing.
Who says that?
The producers. You ever eat with one? Never eat with an actor? So they did become a real person.
I always like to look that up, see if there's anybody living. And I mean, there may be some extras randomly, but he was the only one on IMDb that was still living. Even the other little girl had passed away. So it's kind of neat that someone's still alive.
Wow.
Okay. So then let's go ahead and get the Steven out of the way. Should it have won?
Looking at the other films.
Oh, yeah. Let's do that. Sorry. So Mrs. Miniver had a 7.6 on IMDb. I'm only going to read the few that should have won.
Sure.
Also, it's kind of funny. Greer Garson also was nominated for Random Harvest as well.
Yeah.
And it got a 7.9, so it actually got the highest. The other ones that were in the same area as Yankee Doodle Dandy got a 7.6. The Pride of the Yankees got a 7.6. And the Magnificent Ambersons got a 7.6. So, Steven, what do you think should have won?
I will say there are other movies in this year. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Magnificent Ambersons, even though it was chopped apart after it was filmed. I'm a big fan of that movie because it's just gorgeous. And I'm also a big fan, and I know that James might back me up on this, of To Be or Not to Be. Have you ever seen To Be or Not to Be, the Jack Benny movie? Funny. One of the funniest movies you'll ever see. I mean, great. But it's not even mentioned in the top. But for the movies that were nominated, I would have to say Mrs. Miniver, just for what it brings to the people at this time.
I'm surprised you're not saying The Man Who Came to Dinner, because that technically came out in 1942.
I don't think it was nominated, was it? Or was
no,
it
but I'm saying, but like that's your favorite movie, isn't it?
Oh, it's my favorite Christmas movie.
Okay, gotcha.
And if you've never seen The Man Who Came to Dinner, I'm telling you, you've got to go watch it. Just for Auntie Willie's performance, period. So, but I would go with Mrs. Miniver. It's a little touching for me now. What about y'all?
Go ahead, James.
Look on James's face.
I mean, the Magnificent Amberson, yeah, I think should have won. I don't know. I don't know if I'm just having such a okay. Me looking at it, how I look at this film through my perspective, no, it should not have won. I would go with the Magnificent Amberson. However, maybe at the time I'm just not dialed into the struggle that was 1942. So I don't know. This is also, I know this is a very low scoring, and we probably shouldn't even mention it, but Wake Island, I did enjoy that film. Mainly because of my obsession with history. But I like that film too, but I don't know. I would say yeah. I would say no.
What about Yankee Doodle Dandy? Yeah, I'm a Yankee Doodle Dandy.
I mean, that was fine too.
Well, ironically, Random Harvest is actually about a war movie as well, so it's World War I instead of World War II. And like I said, as Greer Garson, I'm actually going to say it's the Pride of the Yankees. I highly doubt either one of y'all have seen it because it's a sports movie, but does a really good job of portraying Lou Gehrig. And we don't really get a lot of those kind of movies anymore, which is whatever. But I just appreciate when a good sports movie's done right. And I felt that's the only one I've seen of this other than Mrs. Miniver. But for what it did for the war, I will say Mrs. Miniver should have won.
I would say
so I'll agree just because of what it did for the war, like as Churchill mentioned.
Yeah. So. I agree. I guess.
But anyway, so with that being said, let's go ahead and get our wheel of destiny out, and let's see what our next movie is.
Mrs. Miniver is no more.
Give me just a second. Let me share my screen.
And Me and My Gal was released this year.
I don't know if you guys can see my screen.
It's coming up. Yep, it's coming up.
Yep,
There she
here we
is.
are.
Perfect. Alrighty.
I'm on something interesting.
Already removed Mrs. Miniver.
Come on, something interesting. That's really setting the bar high, isn't it? On something interesting.
Hey, Gladiator. Something interesting.
Yes.
Yes.
Yawn.
Oh, heck yeah.
We can see the straight people in the room are. Finally, we get an action movie.
I mean, some of those scenes were like kind of dreamy. Like, I get it.
So I haven't seen Gladiator in probably 15 years or so. So this will be fun to see as like a older adult. I saw it in college, and obviously when it came out in 2000, but I haven't seen it in a while.
Speaking of action movies, I mean, I forgot to say this. William Wyler also directed what movie we've already reviewed? Do you know? Ben-Hur.
Oh yeah,
Ben-Hur. So
again, 4 hours.
Very different movies. 4 hours.
Nothing happened. No.
A lot of this.
Steven, have you seen it or no?
Have I seen Gladiator? No, dear. I have not seen Gladiator. Not a big fan of that guy. Thank you very much. But
that's right. He hates this guy. I forgot that. That's funny. He hates Joaquin Phoenix.
Well, Joaquin is just an idiot. But other than that,
but
we're good friends. Me and Joaquin.
I'm very excited about it because this is a nice change of pace. I don't mind doing these like 40s and stuff if we have something to follow it up where it's like a little more modern. Like I'm not against obviously older movies, but I'm pretty excited about this.
I'm excited for Gladiator. It's actually a good movie.
It's a really good movie. All right, guys. Any final thoughts before we close the book on Mrs. Miniver? Literally.
Brilliant.
I mean, you can see this movie if you want to see decent customer service in a bygone era.
Or they save a hat for a woman. That's all you think about. It's like.
But then, to be fair, they do name a rose after her. That's kind of creepy.
Creepy.
I maybe I got customer service a little too far.
You're one of our best people that come by here every day and speak to me. I'm gonna make a rose out of your discarded gum wrappers.
You are so jaded.
Maybe that was his move.
Oh, it totally.
You thought about that?
Clarence.
See what happens is like he gets murdered and then he becomes Clarence, but he can't get his wings because he was a bad person. So he has to be a good angel to get his wings.
Oh, you are really, there's a special place for you somewhere else. Let me tell you.
All right, y'all. Well, on that note, we'll end this here. If you made it this far, please do consider subscribing, liking, and giving us your feedback in the comments. Be sure to follow us over on TikTok as well. Same thing, Chicago Cinephiles. But otherwise, this is just Chicago Cinephiles signing out.
Bye. See you later.
See ya.